This is going to be part 2 of our fixing and repairing the killer whale. We're going to go over some more details of the sled launcher, the machine gun turrets, windows, side panels, and go over the construction of the body itself. Here you can see the launcher. It's underneath that plate, and if you pull back these white parts, it'll click into place, and then pushing the button will activate the launcher. So you push it back against a spring, it'll lock into place. Then again, push the button and it launches. I'm pulling up the plate here, and you can see there's only one attachment point. It's that little nub. But you might be able to see there's, I think, some kind of adhesive or glue. The first time you remove that, it's not going to want to come off. So you have to be real careful about where you put the pressure. You can also see that ridge in the plate. That ridge goes into this groove on this white part. And so it slides along on that ridge. That keeps it from going side to side and keeps it on track. You can see here it slides back and forth fine, but won't go side to side. So when you put the plate down, you got to make sure that it fits into that groove. Here's the spring. So the spring just goes over that little nub on the back of the white area, and that keeps it from, flying off or not applying the force in the right area. And the spring just sits in this channel. There's nothing else really holding it. So here I'm making sure that the spring goes on that nub. And then pushing it back. And it flies away. So don't do that. You might lose your spring. When the plate's there, that top plate, that'll keep the spring from doing that. The button mechanism here is really clever. It's just kind of a lever. And it's molded in one piece. And where there's kind of a pivot joint, I guess, in the left there, it's just really thin plastic that they bend. So you can see that's the, I think it's called the fulcrum, where the where it kind of balances, or where it rotates from when you push down. So you can see the pushing down just kind of raises the one end, and that flips up that white piece and dislodges it so the spring can push it forward. None of this you can really do until you put the plate on it, because everything will fly apart. So I've got everything in place. Make sure to align that nub thing with where it goes in, and then just push down. And even without the adhesive, it seems to hold really well. It pretty much pops into place. And then you can cock back the white part to press the button to check that it releases, and you should be all good. It's a really clever mechanism, really simple, not too many pieces. Just got to make sure they're in the right order, and it should work, again and again and again. The turrets on the whale are pretty simple. They just have little tabs, 2 little tabs, both located in the back, that just pop in. And they grab underneath the shell of the whale and kind of hold the turret in place and allow it to rotate smoothly. It's really easy to just apply a little bit of pressure there and pull those right out. Replacing the glass is easy as well. Just make sure when you look at the glass that you recognize that there's a different facing to them. So the glass will kind of bubble up and kind of be higher in one direction. So make sure that that's the direction that's facing out. There's also 2 tabs on the bottom and then 1 on the top, so just make sure you orient those correctly. So here you'll see I'm slipping the 2 lower tabs in to make sure that it grabs on, and then just apply a little pressure from behind, and it should pop right in. And it holds pretty well, but just keep an eye on those because they can pop out. The little side covers are pretty easy as well. Just make sure you push in the top tab first, and then once that goes in, you just apply a little pressure to pop them down, and that little bit of overhang piece there will just hold them in place. Just make sure you don't try to remove the top tab first, because you can break this piece, and then you'll have to replace it or do some kind of repair on it. So just apply the pressure to pull up from the bottom part, and then just slip the top right out. Here's the bottom part of the whale's hull. As you can see, it's just like one big piece. Molded into those are the insets where the wheels go and the casters that hold on the wheels. And this is the top part of the hull. Or I guess it's not really a hull. It's like the inflatable like bag that the hovercraft sits on. But you can see it's one really big piece with lots of like cool cross pieces to give it some structural strength. And these are pretty strong. They're not super thick and heavy, but they're pretty strong, especially when you put these two parts together. They mate together really well, and they hold together pretty well. And then this is the top shell that gives the whale, you know, kind of its iconic shape. The kind of detailed part of it, you can see underneath, you know, that's where you insert the windows. And also you can see lots of the voids where different pieces go, like the cannons. Now, one thing when you put the top shell on, you want to make sure that the drawbridge part is already is down like that, or make sure it goes on top of it, because if you put everything together and pop in the tabs, then you have to kind of pull it off to get that to swing out. And then the same with the part that swings up. You want that to be on the top, but that's an easier fix. And here's all the holes where all the screws go to put the, keep the hull together. There's a bunch of screws, just make sure you get them all. And don't miss the ones in the front, the two in the front, because you can end up, not seeing those and try to pull it apart and end up cracking your hull. And so that's it, just some overview of some of the details in the whale and how you might fix them. I hope you found this video useful, you saw something you liked, and we hope to see you in the next video. Thanks again. Yo, Joe.